was like a chunk of white kids, and then, but like,
I think it was because like, what is it? I'd say decently diverse because unfortunately we weren't the makeup of the area because where our school was situated. It's in a very beautiful, very vibrant Latino community. Like lots of like Latino like businesses, own businesses and like restaurants around. But like you would not think that looking at that school.
Yeah.
Like it was like at most it was like 3 black girls, and then I'm not sure if we had one black. Oh yeah. So it was like 4 black people total. We had, I think, 1 Arab person, and then like I think 2 or 3 Asian people, and then white.
Don't forget the 1 native. No, just kidding.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Just kidding. No, I'm white.
And then like they did not. I don't think they successfully DEI'd our middle school, but that.
Like I think.
But it was pretty decently diverse. Woke. Like you got new perspectives, but it was a white school. It was a very white school.
But like mass.
And what was like the makeup of the teachers and the faculty?
Mostly white. Yeah. Like our priest was, Indian. White, and then we had a. Oh right, Indian,
and then like it was only later
they eventually got a black
white. Yeah.
There was it was always a white deacon, but they eventually got a black priest who's still in charge now. Father, I think he actually just left. Can't remember.
Can't remember either.
But yeah, but like a lot of the local parishioners were Latino.
They had Spanish mass.
Yeah,
like that's how big the community was there. They had mass solely in Spanish.
Right.
Like times where you could go to where it's just all in Spanish because after Vatican II, and so it was very interesting.
But like compared to then when you went to our high school, did it get more diverse or is it just the same?
I mean, there's more by category of there being more people. It was more diverse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because I don't think our high school is that diverse in retrospect either.
And I want to say
wasn't that diverse, but more diverse than where we went to school. I have to bleep out. It was just more people total.
And I want to say I feel like the high school people who were there, I think there was like a new category of a lot more preppy. I don't think we had preppy people at our middle school.
Definitely.
Used to be advertised as like the college prep school of the area.
Right.
It was like the
more convenient for.
That's why my brother went, and then I went, because we were told like these kids are getting into good colleges. Because the only other option was like Merrill Hyde, but that because it was a magnet school, like you had to get it based on a lottery or something.
Yeah. Because like with, I'd say like. You just got exposed for it because it was like people with rich families went there, and then the people who went to our middle school, it was like not rich but like doing well for themselves.
There was, I think there was tuition assistance,
scholarship, and there was a lot of tuition assistance.
Yeah,
our high school had that, but like a lot of the people were just paying the full tuition, like, and that's how you end up dealing with a lot of people who just had bad attitudes or weren't nice people in school, or dealing with like certain like generations of people going there, like I would bleep out so many names, like and then
all 20 of them. Well, I think there was actually 9.
It's 9.
There's 9. Yeah. And I want to say, like, I think I'm so glad I left Sumner Academy and went to because I was with a new group of people, finally broke out of that like kindergarten to whatever 8th grade shell. And also...
Because those Sumner Academy kids that were there till 8th grade never made friends really outside of that Sumner Academy clan in our high school.
Right. And so I was like forced to make friends. Like I didn't know anybody at and so I was forced to make friends and be a real person. But I liked where the school was, mostly because of the Wendy's. But there was also
shout out Wendy's.
There was an old folks home behind the community.
Yeah, the senior living home where you could get secondhand smoke.
Exactly. And then there was a cemetery to the left, if you're in the school, to the left of us.
Wow.
And so we
serving the young, serving the old.
Yep. And we were
the dead.
And the dead. Wow. Like
not far to travel.
Where's Mufasa?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Go to school.
You got the whole specter of life where that school is situated. You had an adult toy shop. You
like
had,
you had babies being made.
Like
you had the cemetery.
Yes.
It was a cool place to go to school. I have to be real.
Like
and you had
Cricket Mobile was right across the street. Like
shut up, you had access to the world.
Yes.
Wow, your life must have felt so open and amazing.
I really loved going to that school. I think it fixed a lot. And then I remember on our for 8th grade, I was pissed we were going to Atlanta because Sumner Academy would go to like, I think Clark my brother went to fucking New York City, and then that year they went to San Antonio, Texas. Sumner Academy had gone to San Antonio, Texas. I was like, Atlanta? I wasn't pissed, but I was like, they're flying. We don't get to fly. Oh my God, that would have been hell on earth.
That would have been terrible.
Now my job, like that would be hell on earth.
We had a really nice Greyhound bus they put us on. It was nice. It was pretty nice. Even though I despise Atlanta now, but like it was pretty fun.
It was a good trip.
It was fun. We went to like the AT&T, excuse me, the Warner or the CNN building.
Yeah,
down there.
because I have pictures of that too.
Back when before COVID, so it was actually like you could actually do a full tour of where they like filmed and stuff. And we got to go to the Cartoon Network store and everything, which is now it's basically a glorified food court now. It's basically defunct. They don't allow tours anymore. Still don't allow tours at all.
I really love that they allow us to have our phones with us, because it was like at that sweet spot
even though we weren't allowed to take pictures, allowed to post pictures.
Oh, I didn't remember that, but I never posted anything. But we also had our 8th grade. I think it was just for the girls. I do want to talk about our sex education.
Oh my God!
But before that, we had a camp out on the soccer field. Do you remember this? Maybe you weren't there.
I don't think I was there.
But there was an option for like all the girls to have a camp out at the soccer field. And I don't know. It was just weird.
Oh, like I remember when, because they'd have us, for 8th grade as like a field trip, they'd have us tour the like upper Catholic schools. So there was
so
no,
what were the options? Like,
it was,
okay.
And so like girls went, but then the boys basically got like a have fun day where they like had a field day.
Yeah,
that's so shitty.
And then we got to go visit.
I was about to go there.
I thought you were gonna go to.
So
that's why I was pissed.
I wanted to go to too, but I couldn't swing it. It was too far away.
It was really expensive for my family.
Way too far away.
It was like, it was super expensive, and my family was like, my dad didn't have a job at the time, and they were like, okay, like we're gonna move in a year. We can't, like, this is way too expensive for us.
Yeah, you're going to Pope.
Well, it was insane that was more expensive than.
How much was at the time? Like 20,000?
16.
Yeah, I want to say it was 16K a year.
Yeah,
like 16,200 a year.
And so my dad was like, I had toured it. I had loved everybody. I wanted to be a nun, obviously, still at this point.
Yeah.
And
the uniforms are actually cute.
Yeah. And
cute.
They made us take like an aptitude test. Like this was like a pre-SAT. If you did well on the pre-SAT, that was like grounds for entry. Like there was you had to pass a lot of tests to get to.
Yeah, they had their own test. It wasn't just like you had to take
You had to do interview.
Yeah, an interview. I remember I had to do the interview.
Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? So there were 70 spots in the class.
So what did you want to be?
I said a nuclear physicist. Because I had just started reading.
And I remember they had like a written exam as well, like a written essay that you had to take. Oh my gosh.
Dream big,
I lie even bigger.
No, nuclear physicist is fucking wild. First off, you were not that good at science.
At 8th grade.
No, but the funniest part was because
she was horrible in physics. We did in 9th grade.
Well, I was a really big reader though.
Okay.
And so I was reading a book about Oppenheimer, and so I was like, this is what I wrote. I said,
Christopher Nolan has nothing on you.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
She's reading American Prometheus.
I was like,
grade.
I can't wait to help make nuclear fission a reality, but I don't want to use it for war. I made sure that Lockheed Martin wasn't infecting my brain. I was like, I can't use it. Anyway, so my dad was talking to me. He's like, look, I like really don't think we can swing it. Like, it's not going to work out. And he was like, what I can offer though, you always got to bargain with me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll get you your own laptop if you go to JP2 because we're gonna move in the next year. And this was, and this was like
big.
Yeah, I loved that thing. It was a Dell.
Yeah, it was not a Mac.
And no, I never wanted Mac.
Sad. I'm such an Apple whore.
I have my Lenovo ThinkPad in my bag. It's a 15-inch hunk of metal. Anyway, so because I still didn't believe that we were gonna leave Tennessee. I was like, no fucking way, dude.
Yeah, I was shocked that y'all still left because the way you would frame things made it seem like we're just figuring it out.
Well, because I got the call like 6 months before we were, or my parents told me like 6 months before I left. This was so funny. And so I was sitting on the couch with my mom, and she tells me, hey, we're going to move to North Carolina. And I wanted to cry. So I just turned the other way towards the TV. And I was like, okay.
I sobbed when you left. It was real sad.
I never cried about it. I was like, fuck it.
Well, I cried for us.
Yeah.
Remember that night that like mom invited you and Allie over to our house, like for your little send away party?
Yeah.
The moment you left my back door, I cried. I cried for like 10 minutes.
I was like, wow, really, this is it? And
I thought she might as well have been dying.
Yeah.
Like, it was very dramatic.
I don't think I had a concept that I could eventually visit you, and I don't think you had a concept that I was ever going to visit you.
Oh, it very much felt like my mom said, like, it, because
like
also...
North Carolina was a far off,
because when y'all
land.
were moving, like, Doug, by that point, knew he was going to be working at that concrete place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had already lived over there for 6 months.
True, but
like a fucking urban deployment.
Because, like, you know, our moms talked a lot, and it didn't seem like if we were going to visit, it was going to be a moment if we did.
Yeah.
It did not seem like we were going to come visit you in like a month or two after you left at all.
No. I think it was a year before you visited me.
It was a year before we visited y'all.
Because I was finally like, hey, I'm texting Jack. When is he going to come visit? Yeah. Anyway, sex education in our school.
I got to hear this.
Because they split us up. It was boys and girls were in separate rooms, and they had one of the.
Well,
they didn't have an
actual.
No, just wait until. But just wait until you hear who taught that. Yeah.
Because they had for the first couple of classes, they had for health class because it wasn't just sex ed, it was health class, and then they had sex ed in it, and so they taught us about like eating right and like our hormones and stuff. Okay. That was taught by
It's pretty good for
the teachers
school.
there. It was pretty fine, but then. I'm not sure if they paid these people, but it was parents, like parents of children who went to the school, but they were doctors, and they brought them in to teach us our sex ed.
What?
Not also that, but also the
and
janitor.
That one lady, what?
The janitor talked to the boys.
They had I don't remember that.
You never heard this?
No.
The janitor talked to the boys, and so our whole speech was like, the women's speech, it was with, you can bleep this out, and then Sister Rita Marie. And I was like, why the fuck is the nun here? Like,
what does she know?
Yeah, literally. And so then they had the janitor go and talk to the boys. And so ours was like, he really loved me. Like, was telling about how she met her husband. Like, he really loved me, like, yada, yada, yada. And then apparently in the boys, it was like, well, you gotta ask if she could drop her pants.
Oh, I remember this now. Wait, yes.
And if she says yes, then you can hit it. And so that was like the boys' sex ed. And then they like talked the rest of the time. And we're getting the like most, it wasn't really like that romantic.
Flowery language.
Yeah, like. And so,
I don't want to tell any other way. So I remember a lot of what she said about like meeting her husband and stuff.
After this podcast, we'll divulge.
We'll convene. Yeah.
But yeah, that was our sex ed, which honestly was, they didn't talk about like penis and vagina. Did they? Or did I miss that?
Maybe they gave names. They gave names to body parts and stuff, but all I mostly remember is like the hormonal stuff. Like I remember they split up the girls, and they were like, "So you'll when you have puberty, you'll gain breast buds." And then she singled out one specific girl and was like, "You have breast buds," and I was like, "Wait, who?" Yeah. It was.
Oh. Poor girl.
And then she was like, "See, you have," because like looking around, locks in on the flat.
That's insane.
I was like, "You have breast buds," and then she was clearly like taken aback. She was like, "No, you have breast buds." And then like the teacher, she was Filipino. It was Miss S. Mom who was teaching us this.
Whoa,
I remember that.
Throwback.
And so she's like, she still has like her Filipino accent, right. And so like the way she was saying it was just very like English second language, very direct.
Matter of fact,
she wasn't trying to be like mean. Yeah. It was just like, that's a fact. Like, let's be real, honey.
Oh
like,
my God.
That's crazy.
I can't believe I blocked out so much of this. This is obviously why I'm virgin.
There was another thing because they brought in, you know how they always have their huge abstinence
yeah, the abstinence
I remember they drove us to some place and they had a giant divider between
Is
this the cards?
What?